Bash. Okay, back again. Today's video we're gonna do Job chapter 3, guys. So essentially, if you've been following along, sorry it's taken so, but let me just say this, sorry it's taken a little while to get Job chapter 3 out. I'll be honest, a little bit of procrastination. Also, my dad's visiting from the UK at the moment, so spending a lot of time with him and the family, me and my brother and dad, and work as well. But definitely did have a chance to upload, and I just didn't. Anyway, yeah, so Job chapter 3. If you've been following along, obviously we've read Job 1 and 2. We have seen that Job has been through a lot. So it came like Satan's essentially attacked Job in waves. So the first wave, you could say, Job had most of his, I think all of his livestock animals. He had thousands of animals destroyed, killed, raided, and he had his all of his children in a house collapse, and it killed his children. And he didn't sin, he didn't curse God, even though all of this happened to him. And the second wave, the second attack from the devil, the accuser, the adversary, came in the form of an illness, a serious illness. It says that Job was covered in sores from the heel of his foot to the crown of his head. And when his friends came to share condolences and comfort Job, as they came and saw him, it says that he was so disfigured, he was unrecognizable. And immediately his friends started to weep and chuck ash towards the heaven and tear their robe and, you know, start comforting Job. So essentially all of that's happened. Job has gone through a lot in the last 2 chapters, and chapter 3, essentially we're gonna see Job start to essentially vent and let out his frustration. And we see how sad and how badly this has impacted his life by the things he says, by the language he uses in this chapter. So it's enough waffling from me. I'm just going to read you chapter 3, and we'll have a little bit of a discussion about it. So, Job chapter 3. After this, Job opened his mouth and cursed his day. It says in brackets his birthday. And Job said, "Let the day perish wherein I was born, and the night which I was born, the night which announced there is a man-child conceived, let that day be darkness. May not God above regard it, nor light shine upon it. Let gloom and deep darkness claim it for their own. Let a cloud dwell upon it. Let all that blackens the day terrify it. As for that night, let the thick darkness seize it. Let it not rejoice among the days of the year. Let it not come into the number of the months." He's essentially saying, let it be blotted out as a day. Let it not even count as a day. Yes, let that night be solitary and barren. Let no joyful voice come into it. Let those curse it who curse the day, who are skilled in rousing up the Leviathan. Let the stars of the early dawn of that day be dark. Let the morning look in vain for the light, nor let it behold the day's dawning. Because it shut not the doors of my mother's womb, nor hid sorrow and trouble from my eyes. Why was I not stillborn? Why did I not give up the ghost when my mother bore me? Why did the knees receive me? Why the breasts that I should suck? For then would I have lain down and been quiet. I would have slept. Then would I have been at rest in death. with kings and counselors of the earth who built up now desolate ruins for themselves, or with princes who had gold, who filled their houses with silver? Or why was I not a miscarriage, hidden and put away as infants who never saw light? There in death the wicked cease from troubling, and there the weary are at rest. There the captive prisoners rest together. They hear not the taskmaster's voice. The small and the great are there, and the servant is free from his master. Why is light given to them who is in misery, and life to the bitter in soul? Who long and wait for death, but it comes not, and dig for it more than for hidden treasures, who rejoices exceedingly, are elated when they find the grave. Why is the light of the day given to a man whose way is hidden, and whom God has hedged in? For my sighing comes before my food, and my groanings are poured out like water. For the thing which I greatly fear comes upon me, and that of which I am afraid befalls me. I was not or am not at ease, nor had I or have I rest, nor was I or am I quiet, yet trouble came and still comes upon me. So there we see Job, in absolute distress, wondering, why was I born? Why did I have to go through this? Why did all of this tragedy come upon me? It would have better of me not being born than to even, experience life. Despite, up until this point, he had the most amazing life, thousands of animals, a great family, a wife, kids, great possessions. It says in chapter 1 that he was the greatest man of all the East, That's really something. And, all of this calamity has come upon him at once. And he's saying, I would have better to have not been born, He's cursing his birthday. He's saying, I don't, want anyone celebrating my birthday because it's the day that I was born, which means that I'm alive and I'm going through this tragedy, He's in great distress, he's upset. And I think we can link this to our lives, Perhaps, I know I haven't gone through anywhere near as much tragedy Job has. I don't know about you guys watching, but we definitely have gone through tough times. Each and every one of us can think of a time which wasn't nice, a time that we just wish never happened or wish we never had to go through. And it's important to remember that God is still sovereign. God is close by even when you don't feel like he's close by. You have to remember that the Lord hears our cries, and he is very close. We have to remind ourselves that in life, it's like a roller coaster. It goes up and it goes down, it goes up and it goes down. There's peaks and there's troughs. And I know in the moment of being at the lowest low, you tend to forget all of the good that you have experienced in your life in that moment, because you're just shrouded by darkness, you're shrouded by pain. That's all you can think about, and that's all you can see. But the Lord is the light in the darkness. And when we're in that darkness, we just have to call upon the name of the Lord, And I'm excited to continue reading the rest of Job, because you're going to see the Lord work and come into Job's life and transform his life for the better, He doesn't forsake the righteous. We know this in scripture. The Lord doesn't forsake the righteous. And it describes Job, that God describes Job as an upright and blameless man. God says, have you seen Job? There is no one like him on the earth in terms of his uprightness and blameless and the way that he follows the Lord. And so, obviously, as I've just said, we know that the Lord never forsakes the righteous, and certainly Job is not forsaken, and we're going to see that later in the chapters as we continue reading in the series. But I just want to say as well, you know, to anyone that is going through tough times right now, to call upon the name of the Lord, you know, to rejoice. We've seen in chapter 1 and 2, after these tragedies happening, it says that Job still didn't sin or renounce God or curse God. And just having that gratitude for the things that we still have, you know, is so important, even if they may be small and it's difficult to look at them in amongst all the tragedy happening around you. You know, and Job saying he doesn't want to be alive, you know. Suicide's never the answer, and obviously Job doesn't kill himself, but you know, I know sometimes the thoughts can be a bit too real at times, you know. We see that suicide rates have crept up. We see that euthanasia, or legal of killing yourself, like a legalized way to kill yourself, has risen in certain countries as well, and it's sad to see. And just know that the Lord has a way for you, a plan for you, and you know, he doesn't want you to take your life, you know. He wants you to give it to him. So that being said, I look forward to continuing reading Job. Next video will be Job chapter 4. I pray that this video was eye-opening to you. It made you think about how you deal with things going wrong in your life. You know, what's your relationship like with the Lord? Are you someone that as soon as something goes wrong, you renounce God, or you complain at God, or you instantly forget about the Lord's sovereignty and his power and his love for you and his plan for you? You know, how do you deal with these things? So I pray that this video has been eye-opening. I hope you enjoyed it too, and I hope you stick around for chapter 4. I look forward to reading it. I intend on not leaving it so long. Again, I apologize. I should have got Job chapter 3 out a lot sooner, but yeah, it's something that I guess I'm working on, and I ask you guys to pray for me about my discipline, my timekeeping, and yeah. God bless you guys. Stay safe. I'll see you in the next one.